I'm very good, and I really appreciate you guys taking a few minutes to talk to me about Sasquatch Sunset. I had a blast at this at Sundance.
Oh, cool.
Uh, really liked it. I've been a fan of you guys since Kamiko the Treasure Hunter too, so it's
Oh,
happy
thank you.
that finally out in theaters and
Yeah, yeah.
available to rent. I'm super happy about that. I'm super happy about a lot of things at the moment. But let's talk Sasquatch Sunset. I'm gonna ask you the question that was been tickling my brain each time that I've seen the movie. I've seen it a few times now. How'd you get anybody to pay for it? Because it doesn't seem like the kind of movie anybody would. It doesn't seem like the kind of movie that'd be easy to sell, honestly. And I'm happy it got made, obviously, but it does not seem like it'd be an easy process.
No, it was a long process for obvious reasons. There's not an easy comp for it, So in talking about it, it's not like it's yeah, that you can't draw some like direct easy references to what it is.
Yeah.
And so much of it is about the tone. And so it was crucial for the script to be as as explicit as possible in those details for just conveying the tone we're going for because for multiple reasons. One, the most obvious one, because it's from the perspective of the Sasquatches themselves. I think, when people think Bigfoot movie, they think either like a family film or a horror film,
Right.
where from the point of view of the human, and the Bigfoots are like, the boogeyman sort of,
Yeah.
in the distance, and we really wanted to be front and center and immersed in their world, and just without judgment, just completely see the film through their from their point of view. And so I think that it was crucial that the script, uh, uh, have that tone, as clear as possible, especially since we're covering the whole spectrum of their existence, and which, both in terms of the whole, cycle of life that they go through, and being open to the more extreme absurd moments, but then also the more poignant ones as well. And we just wanted to, approach it all without judgment. So I think it was necessary for the script to make that tone, crystal clear, not just for the cast and the crew, but obviously from the start for the financiers, so that, we were all making the same movie.
Right, because I think when I was trying to explain it to people who aren't as familiar with your work, they would ask me, like, is it a horror movie?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no. Is it a comedy? I was like, kinda. But it's also kind of a nature doc in a lot of ways because it takes that sort of, it's looking at them from a distance, like you said, without judgment. So it's kind of like a nature doc in a lot of ways too. But it is very funny too. So it's a really hard movie to describe. But I just tell people just to go experience it and find out. But you guys mentioned the writing process. I wonder how that works for a movie with essentially no dialogue. I know you're describing scenes and things like that, but how do you visualize how it's going to play out? You don't have a dialogue to work
Well,
from.
it was a very visual script, for obvious reasons. And it was, I don't know if I've never read a silent film script, but maybe it was similar to that. It was because, we didn't have the benefit of the dialogue to advance the narrative. And so you're relying on, their physicality, their facial expressions, the way we're choosing to, cover the action. And so the script was very specific in terms of the shots and the way things were presented, because that often dictated whether it made something more humorous or more tragic or poignant.
Yeah.
And so I think the main, so yeah, it's very descriptive and detailed in that regard, but there's no dialogue, obviously. So it's not like it said grunt, grunt, grunt when they spoke. It just, explained what the psychology was of their actions, and what their intentions were, and that sort of thing. And it's a pretty straightforward narrative anyway, so there's not much mystery in what their wants and desires are.
And Nathan, you had the task of having to actually play this stuff out. First of all, you look way different without all that hair.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
there's no hair.
Well, first of all, what was it like wearing the fur suits? Congrats to you guys. I love the fact that you guys used practical suits and things like that and things like that in the film. I appreciate that. But for Nathan, how was it like wearing the suits? And then how'd you get into character? How'd you figure out the kind of character you wanted to be in that suit?
Yeah, like the I mean, we've just been fans of practical effects since we were kids, growing up as VHS junkies, and you know, always wanted to do something at this scale with this sort of complex creature makeup. So getting into it was, for me personally, was like you know, it was kind of a dream come true to be able to wear all this. And I mean, it was very, you know, we had head to toe full body cast made, so all the suits were very form fitting and made of foam muscles and you know, covered with fur, and they were pretty heavy. But we were well insulated. It was a little chilly when we were filming, so we actually had some comfort wearing them on certain days. Certain days we would have to peel half of it off so that we could cool down a little bit. But you know, it was and the makeup on the face took about 2 hours to put on and get all the prosthetics and but it was a lot of fun because you instantly feel like the weight of the suit and disappearing behind all that fur. It was really easy to kind of get into like character of a beast, you know, like of a creature, and especially since we were shooting out in the middle of these ancient redwood forests, like you kind of it was like getting in character wasn't that hard. We did do like a rehearsal process where we all got on the same page for you know, our movements and our vocalizations and things to make the creatures feel like consistent and feel like a family. And then after we kind of worked at those, and we were able to kind of like layer the different characteristics on top of that for each, just to make sure like each character has their own personality and kind of stands out. You know, so my character was more like the alpha male of the group,
Yeah.
a little bit more driven by his needs and wants, and less concerned of others, and more like the stereotypical what I think it was a good approach because he's more of what people were expecting to see of a Sasquatch. And then, you know, when you look at the other family dynamics, you see like, oh, this is more than just what, you know, I've seen in other films, or what I preconceived of like you know, the vicious, more you know, aggressive Sasquatch character, and I think that was fun to kind of like balance that with expectations.
I was sitting with some people who had no idea that Riley Keough and Jesse Eisenberg were even in it, essentially until the end of the movie. You know, they're so hidden in those in behind the suits, but to me, it's all in the eyes, and I think it's like there's this moment, I guess, in the movie where the kind of bestial side goes away, and you kind of find the humanity in it, which I think is had to have been really to me. It seems like it'd be really difficult to do. If you guys could speak to that a little bit in finding that balance between their beastly sides and their humanity, because that's really, I think, the crux of the film.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that's what for in writing the script, that's what was the most interesting thing about it, I think, to begin with, and how, you know, in terms of what looking at what Bigfoot represents, you know, like culturally, like it's sort of like this kind of gray area between human and animal behavior. And it's also, or in a broader sense, like our connection to the natural world. And so I think ev- we everything it was essential to make it um uh just to be open to its full experience, but to also but through that make it relatable. And so with the creature design, with the eyes especially, we never wanted to have like contacts, which they often do with creature work, which look cool, but they're kind of, but then there's no, there's no expression beyond just that,
Yeah.
the distinct look of the creature eye. And what's so amazing with like actual human eye contact is the imperceptible details and information that we we can't even articulate, that one gets from eye contact with someone, and and what they're conveying, and especially with someone like Riley Keough, who's has these big blue eyes that are so soulful, and gives so much information, more, it conveys. We would have never needed like dialogue or subtitles or anything like that with everything that she gives through her performance. So we and it also makes them more relatable. It makes them feel real. Yeah. And I think in spite of all the absurdity of the film, we really wanted to people to have a sense of empathy for these creatures and see ourselves in them. And so having being and so much of that was done through their eyes.
Guys, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking time to talk with me about Sasquatch Sunset. Opens on April 12th. I really wish you guys the best of luck with the film. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Travis.
So glad you
Look
liked it.
forward to what you do next.
Okay, thanks, Travis.
Great.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.